Guys, welcome to Investor Army. This is my YouTube channel. My name is Connor Steinberg. I'm an investor out of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And today we're talking about 3 different strategies that I want to give you to finance rental properties. And we're going to look at the exact same property and how we can finance it in 3 different ways. We're going to look at loan to cost versus loan to value. We're going to look at cash purchases of properties. We're going to analyze numbers, monthly recurring costs that you're going to have when you own a rental property. Guys, we're going to touch on a lot of different things today. So don't panic. I know you're looking over my shoulder and your heart's racing and trying to bump out of your chest because you're like, man, I haven't seen that many numbers since I was in high school or college. But calm down. This is YouTube. You can pause it, go back and watch it again later, which you should do. And you learn better by repetition anyway. So guys, let's go ahead and look at this process by what we're trying to do as a real estate investor. We're trying to quit our job and live the lifestyle that we've always wanted to have. Travel the world, do what we want to do, own multiple properties in different cities, right? Basically, not have to worry about money. We want to become financially free. Financial freedom comes when the monthly liabilities that we have to live our lifestyle are overcome by the amount of cash flow that we have coming into our account. So if it's $5,000 a month for you to live and cover all your costs, but you're bringing in $5,001, you are now financially free. Now, are you living that dream lifestyle? No. But how do you get there? You buy more rental properties or you own more owner finance notes like I do. And guys, you just keep stacking your cash flow. So you have to change that paradigm and start thinking, I need to build up cash flow. I need to make income that's not coming from me working directly for time and trading my time for a check. So I'm gonna show you how to do so today. So let's look at this example here, guys. We're gonna use this property right here for each one of these examples on the board behind me. We're gonna look at a property that we fund with all cash, then one that we use a bank loan with a loan to cost loan, and then we're gonna talk about a fix and finance refinance method where we're using a loan to value loan, but all these examples are gonna be using this exact property. Now, this property right here on the board is an exact property that I own and exact numbers, right? So we bought the property for $60,000. Not bad, right? And it's gonna be worth $100,000 when fixed up. But it took about $20,000 in repair to get there, and we thought it was gonna take a little bit less. But as you know, as a real estate investor, everything always goes over. So always budget for that. But basically, we're still in a good position, and we'll show you here in just a second why. Now, we own this property, and it took us about $80,000 to get here. We are not going to be talking about closing costs or financing fees in today's case studies because 1, it's going to confuse too many of you, and 2, I think you can see we don't have any more room on the board. So we're just going to be looking at basic numbers so you can kind of get a good idea of what it's like to own a rental property, because I know a lot of y'all, this is the first time you've come across anything like this before. You're thinking about getting into real estate, buying rental properties, and so you're trying to figure out how to do it. So we're going to try to break it down in a way that you can follow it, a quick ABC type of way to do so. So you're going to have, after you buy the property, monthly costs, reoccurring costs, right? So you're gonna have taxes, insurance, vacancy rate, repairs. And if you wanna do so, which you don't have to, but a lot of people do when they get more properties, you can get a property management company. So the first thing we had in this property is we had about $95 a month taxes and $85 a month in insurance. Now you're gonna pay this yearly, but you're gonna break it down by monthly to figure out your monthly cash flow and your monthly expenses. So that's what we basically pay a month to own this property as far as taxes and insurance go. Now, for vacancy rate, I put a pretty loose number up there. 10% is very, very loose. I hope you're not spending 10% because you should be a little bit more efficient in the way that you run your rental business or your property management business if this is what you're doing and you're managing your own properties. So in your lease agreements, you need to have a specific terminology in there that allows you to show the property before your other tenants leave, right? So you want to have in there that your other tenants get penalized if they don't notify you that they're leaving by a certain date. You want to have at least a 60-day window is what we put in there. So they say they want to move in December, before November starts, they need to let us know, hey, we're leaving. And they also have to let us have in writing that we can show the property while they're still there, because our goal is to fill that property the day they leave, because we don't want to have any vacancy rate. Now, vacancy rate is that time that your property is vacant. So if you're getting $1,200 a month in rent like we do here, and they move out on, say, December 1st, but you can't fill it again until mid-January because you had some repairs you need to get done, and it took you a month to fill it, and you had some people that you checked out and they weren't so good, and you went back and forth in this lease process, by the time you got it filled, it's a month and a half at $1,200 a month. What if you're only making $3,500, $4,000 a year? That's a big chunk of your cash flow, guys. So the goal is to turn over properties quickly. The day that your old tenant moves out, you put a new one in. Can it happen? Yes, it can. Now, we put 10% there. We're taking 10% of the rent right here. So when we're looking at percentage rates to calculate these numbers, we're taking it as basically the rental rate that we're renting our property at. So we have repairs about 5%. That's also pretty loose, guys, because really you shouldn't have any. Why? You just put $20,000 in repairing the property, and I hope you don't have any repair costs already, but it happens, so you still want to have a little bit of wiggle room in there just in case. Now, we're going to talk about property management. Nationally, from what I see, 10% is basically industry standard right now. You can find it cheaper, you may pay more, but guys, if you don't want to deal with the headaches of tenants and toilets and basically all the repairs and all the headaches that come with being a landlord, you can hire a property management company and they'll take 10% right off the top. And sometimes that's the best way to do it. Usually when you're starting your business and you need more cash flow coming in to live off of, you manage them on your own. But as you make more money off your rental properties, it's best to delegate this off to a property management company. But be careful, research them, get referrals from other investors, from your local REI clubs, because guys, there are a lot of horrible property management companies out there and you don't want that headache. So after you add up all your monthly costs, we're gonna have about $480 in total monthly expenses. That is my liability to the property. I have to pay this every month, at least, right? And we're gonna rent the property for $1,200. So let's look at the first example. We're gonna buy this property with all our own cash. Say we've done really well in life, or you had a bunch of money that you inherited and you wanna jump right into real estate. You don't wanna have to learn how to market. You just go right on the MLS and you're just gonna buy a house cash, or however you wanna find it, right? You're gonna pay all cash for the property right out of pocket. So you're gonna pay $60,000 plus $20,000 is a total cost $80,000. Remember, we're not talking about closing costs or financing fees. Now, if you can rent it for $1,200, but your monthly expenses are $480 a month, subtract that and you get a monthly cash flow of $720 a month. That's not bad, right? You're bringing in $720 a month off your $80,000 investment. So how do we find our cash on cash return? We take 720 times 12 to get our per annum amount, per annum being yearly amount, and we divide it by our total cash in the deal, 80,000, which gives us a cash on cash return of 10.8%. That's a double digit return. It's pretty good. How many of you out there right now are getting double digits on any investment that you have? Now, if you're a good real estate investor, I hope you are, but if you're in something else, bonds, life insurance, REITs, whatever you're in, guys, stock market, I mean, you're probably not doing that well. So it shows you even on a bad deal, which I consider this to be a bad deal, using your own cash because you're not leveraging your money and you're not doing what a real estate investor does, which is understand debt leverage, you're still doing really, really well. So let's look at a little bit better way to do this. Now, let's assume you don't have $80,000 to pull out of your pocket, but you're bank financeable. You can go to the bank and get a loan. So what you can do is you can get a loan using what's called loan to cost. Now we have loan to value versus loan to cost. Loan to cost is gonna be against the cost of the property, $60,000 into $20,000 repair, because we're putting up $80,000 to buy the property. They're not gonna loan against the market value of the property or appraised value once it's fixed up. That's $100,000. So we're not getting 80% of $100,000. We're only gonna get 80% of our cost to acquire the property and do the repairs. So we're gonna get $64,000. That's 80% of $80,000. So that's $64,000. You're gonna have to put up the other $16,000. That's why this is a strategy that is not really good for new investors who don't have a lot of money, because eventually you're gonna run out of money paying $16,000 each time to get a property like this. And if you're playing at a little bit higher price point, that's more money out of your pocket. But still, $16,000 is not bad to pull out your property to own a rental property that's gonna make you money forever. Now, you have $16,000 in the deal, and we had a pretty good loan on this property. Say you put it at 30 years, 4.25%, and financed it. You're gonna get a principal and interest payment, which is your mortgage. You're gonna get a promissory note and deed of trust with the bank, and you're gonna get a payment. You're gonna owe the bank $227 a month at the beginning, and $88 principal is gonna go towards actually paying down that property. Now you can see why the banks are so rich and have the biggest building in every town, because look how much money they get compared to you at the beginning of the loan. Now, as that loan goes, they're gonna switch over, right? So it's beneficial to you to own these loans as long as possible, because you get a higher principal pay down later in the loan. But you're basically gonna have a total payment of $350, $315, but you still have that $480 of monthly payments over here, remember? So that's gonna be your total liability to the property now. So you take your monthly rent, $1,200 minus $315 minus $480, with $405 left. That is your profit. That is your net cash flow. $405 goes into your pocket. That's what you make on top of all your liabilities every single month on that particular property, which is not bad, right? How many of those do you really need to quit your job? If you had 10 of those, do the math. 10 times $405 a month, pretty good. How much money are you making at your job? Now, your cash on cash return is gonna be 405 times 12, but we're not dividing it like we did by 80 in the previous example, because that's our cash in there. We have $16,000 cash in this deal. So we're dividing this by 16,000 to give us a 30.38% cash on cash return. That's pretty good. Where else are you gonna make 30%? And really, you can get a lot better returns than this. So that's a better way to do the deal than this, because you have less money in the deal, you're getting a higher cash on cash return, and you're still getting that good cash flow, $405 a month. Now, what's another way to finance the same property? if you're good at being a real estate investor and you're good at raising money and you're good at finding money, or you had some money, you can do what's called a BRRRR method strategy, which is the big buzzword which people on the internet like to call this strategy right now, BRRRR, or whatever they call it. It's just a fix and finance strategy, which is what it really is, guys. We're buying a house, we're fixing it up, we're putting the repairs in the house, we're forcing the appreciation up, creating a higher property value. Now that the house gets appraised for more, we pull our money back out using a bank loan, and we do so using what's called a loan-to-value loan. And we're taking out 80%, which is pretty common. Some of y'all may only be able to get 75%, but loan-to-value, we're not getting 80% back on the cost that we paid for the property. We're getting it back on the appraised value of the property. So now the house is worth $100,000, but we still bought it for $60,000. We put $20,000 repairs, and how do we buy it? Well, you can buy it with a hard money lender or a private money lender or a credit line, however you want to fund it. But if you buy it with a hard money lender, you're gonna have quite a bit of money out of pocket. If you borrow it with other types of financing, you're gonna have to have money out of pocket. But if you use your own money or you raise money from a private money lender, you're not gonna have to pull any money out of your pocket, because when I raise money from private money lenders, guys, I walk into the closing table, I sign for everything, and I walk out with a check for my repair costs. I literally don't pay anything, not even my taxes or insurance or anything, closing costs or anything. I just walk out with a check. So you borrow from a private money lender, you borrow the $80,000, and you're gonna get the house fixed up to where it's worth $100,000, and you're gonna get a loan-to-value loan, $80,000, pull that money back out to either go use on another property or pay back your underlying lender and say, you know, that was a good deal, one in, one out, and they're gone. But most of the time, they wanna get their money back in play, because guys, remember, we're not showing the financing costs in here because they're making profit on the $80,000 loans, so these numbers are gonna be a little bit different. Now, you're still gonna use a 30-year, 4.25% loan. It's a pretty good loan for an investor. Now, your principal and interest are gonna be a little bit different. $283 for interest, $110 for principal, because it's a higher loan balance than the $64, and now your total payment's $394. But you still have the $480 from the previous example, guys, because we still have these total monthly expenses. So now you got $480 plus $394. So you take that, $1,200 minus $394 minus $480 leaves a total monthly cash flow of $326 a month. That means every single month you're gonna make over $300 profit on this one property. What if you had 50 properties, guys? And I know a lot of people that have hundreds. A few people I know have thousands. Think about that. Now, and it's not just the cash flow you're making. You have $20,000 in equity because you were in for 80, the house is worth 100. You just made $20,000 just to buy the house. So you can see how powerful owning rental properties are. You got the power of equity, you got the appreciation of the property, the tax write-offs, depreciation. Guys, there's a lot of benefits for owning real estate. So you have $326 a month cash flow, but you didn't put any money up. So what is your return? It's infinite. You literally have an infinite return. So as long as you can keep borrowing money from private money lenders, and as long as you can go back to the bank and finance out, you have a zero, basically, dollar liability out of your pocket, and an infinite return, and a cash-on-cash return. You know, there really isn't one, right? Because you can buy as many as you want. Now, is this typical? Well, sometimes if you find really good deals, a lot of times you're gonna leave money in it. Why? Because people misrepresent or misunderstand the comps that they're running, and they're comparing them to the top of the market retail comps, and they under rehab it for a rental ready property, and so they don't get the full appraisal. A lot of times they're having to leave money in the deal, or they spend more on the repairs on the property, and they spent more like 30 or 35. And guys, that's pretty typical. So what happens is people actually have to leave money in the deal. They can't finance out because they're all in costs. Once they finance 80% out, can't pay off the underlying lender, and they basically can't pay off all their liabilities, and now they actually have to leave money in the deal. So let's say you had $10,000 left in the deal, which is pretty common. About $5,000 to $10,000 people leave in these deals, which is still good because it's less than this deal right here. But it's 326 by 12 divided by 10,000. You're getting a 39.12% cash on cash return. That is really good. So you can see how using debt leverage can help you grow a portfolio quicker, because you can do more deals with less money out of pocket and still make a higher percentage cash on cash return, guys. So hopefully you kind of understand the difference between loan to cost, loan to value, and kind of see a basic rough breakdown of the rental property numbers. But you need to understand that wholesaling and flipping houses are great, but you have to get into cash flow. You have to have rental properties or owner finance notes if you're trying to basically get out of the rat race in this business, at least as far as what we do as real estate investors. Guys, if you have any questions, contact us at Investor Army. I hope you liked today's video. Share it, like it, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good day.